On this edition of Mississippi Roads, we explore an area of the state's capital that's been undergoing a bit of a renaissance. Plus, food trucks are hitting a sweet spot with customers. One man's making his mission to bring amazing sounds to the area. And we take a look at an old restaurant that for decades drew in the crowds on Ferry Street.
Support for the arts segment of Mississippi Roads comes from the Mississippi Arts Commission, whose mission is to be a catalyst for the arts and creativity in Mississippi. Information available at www.arts.ms.gov.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Down Mississippi Road. Mississippi Road.
Hi, welcome back to Mississippi Roads. I'm your host, Walt Grayson. This area of Jackson that we're in right now, known as the Fondren area, like so many other places around the state, has seen its share of booms and busts over the years. And fortunately, we're in a boom period right now, thanks in part to folks like the Fondren North Renaissance Organization. There's a revival going on here, not only in the commercial sector, but also in the residential sector. The area known as Fondren is nestled between North State Street and Old Canton Road and dates back to the early 1800s when a group of Native Americans ceded the soil to the American government. Two brothers came from Virginia to farm the nearly 5,000 acres, and while one left to avoid the Civil War, the other stayed. And what's left of his property remains as the Cedars House. In the 1860s, after the Civil War ended, a lot of the old plantations were broken up and parceled out. And at the time, the area now known as Fondren was at the northern tip of the city of Jackson's limits. And for a long time, this area was known as Asylum Heights due to the fact that it was the home of the Mississippi State Lunatic Asylum. Well, that facility was transferred to the Mississippi State Hospital at Whitfield, and where the old asylum once stood, now stands the University of Mississippi Medical Center. This building back behind me plays a large part in the history of the Fondren area. And if one man has his way, it will play a great degree in the future of the Fondren area. This is the old Duling School. It was organized back in 1928 as an elementary school. It's been repurposed now as Duling Hall, and music fans all around the area come here to hear their favorite groups play. And while the people are here, there's retail stores, restaurants nearby they can check out. And all of this development is in large part thanks to one man. And we meet him next, Arden Barnett.
This is a dangerous bull ride, the concert promotion business is, yes.
Arden Barnett got on his first bull in 1978 when he booked a Hoyt Axton show, and things just snowballed from there.
Well, I had moved to Birmingham and was there for 4 years, and I was booking concerts there with the school, and I moved back to Jackson in '86 and looked up who was doing the music then and there, and Malcolm in Hallam House was the place, and so I approached Malcolm about booking his club and asked him if I could take over the booking of the club, and he immediately said absolutely not. But you can come wait tables was his response, and so we started. We did a Taj Mahal show together, and that was our first show, and it sold out. It was a great experience, and we just we started doing more and more together, and eventually came to work for them for 8 years.
Arden got out of the music promotion business for several years, but in 2010, he reemerged on the scene with his company, Ardenland, which has transformed the musical landscape of Jackson, Mississippi.
Our primary goal is to share music. That I don't think that the market was filled with music during this time, so it's been a blessing that we've been able to come back, and people have embraced not only live music but the whole premise of what we're trying to do here.
He's bringing music back to this town, and it needed it badly. And he's very passionate about good music, so I haven't seen him bring anything in that wasn't good.
suddenly you have a music scene here, and like just the energy of Jackson has changed because now you have a Wednesday night and Keller Williams is playing. Who would have thought, you know?
Try and make it last, make it last forever.
With being in between Dallas and Atlanta, New Orleans and Memphis, we're the perfect routing city of, I think, of probably any city in the country. We have a definite advantage to that. We see a lot of weeknight shows because of that, but still, we are able to buy shows that are routed, which means lower prices for the band, and also which come down to lower ticket prices for the public.
With this little JBL line array, I've got fronts that are on a mono send, and I've got mid-rooms out there as well.
The music industry has changed drastically over the past 20 years. Smaller contracts, decreased marketing budgets, and less airplay has forced artists to hit the road and perform more live shows.
The days of drugs, sex, and rock and roll is not as intense as it used to be. 20 years ago, it was ugly. And I think now it's a business. They understand that they have to interact with the crowd now. They have to work. And it's not just getting your song played on Miss 103 or Z106 to make a living and sell a record. Now you got to go out, you got to beat the streets.
You know, social media has allowed people who are a fan of a band that used to be so far out of reach to connect directly with them. And I think that's been such a huge impact for the whole music industry, but especially on a smaller scale for, you know, Jackson and Arden. He can talk to people and hear, you know, what concerts do they want in Jackson, what's doing well.
Good to see you.
I tell you what, you were doing a bang-up job getting folks
you're
here.
sweet. You're sweet. You cry. What are y'all doing?
We enjoyed the one the other night.
What was that? I've lost track. Who?
Pat.
Oh, Pat Metheny.
Jackson ought to give him a Lifetime Achievement Award because he's single-handedly tried to bring great music back to a town that traditionally has been hard to break national, international acts in. He's done a great job.
Ardenland books festivals and shows all across the state in various venues. But the crown jewel for music lovers can be found at Duling Hall in Jackson's Fondren district.
Dueling has certainly been a blessing for us. That has changed everything that we do and the shows that we can do. We can do much more intimate acts in there than we can in other locations. So for a rock show, we can take all the seats out and everybody stands up and gets down. Then we can do a P. Urban Susan and everybody sits at a table and chair and we have a nice, quiet, intimate environment. The acoustics are phenomenal. It's a great venue. There has not been one band, not one band, that has played there that has not commented on how much they love playing on that stage.
Well, I hear a voice from the back of the room.
So many small businesses are coming in, so many things that are unique to the Fondren area, that it's really given it a culture to itself, which is really important for people identifying with the area. And Arden's very much a part of that and very much carrying the torch for creating a new cultural place in Fondren that people are proud to be from, quite honestly.
Every time, like, you feel this like energy in Jackson that's like finally going on, and it's because of him. So everybody just thought this place was just gonna like have family reunions or high school reunions or weddings, and like suddenly I'm buying like Keller Williams tickets and he's in Jackson, you know, and who would have thought that this place would have it?
It's Saturday night. There's a gentleman here. His name is Martin Sexton. And Lord, do not miss this show, whatever you do in life. If I gotta buy your ticket, I will buy your ticket. But be here for your show on Saturday night.
I think what Arden is doing is is he's trying to get everyone involved, not only the artists, the musicians, but the people that love music. And he's saying to them, look, come out, I'll refund your ticket. You know, if you don't like the band, just give it a try. I've never seen anyone say that before. And to me, that really stands out, that he's willing to put, you know, money on the line to bring people in.
We have a pay it forward program, and our view on this, you know, just because, one, we want people to come see shows, and it's not all about the money, but it is about the growth of music in Jackson. So by doing that, we want people to come to a show, and if the priority is the light bill, then the priority is the light bill. And if the light bill prevents you from buying a ticket to a show, we just ask you give us a phone call or send us an email, and we'll put you on the guest list. And all we ask is that you go do something nice for a stranger or a neighbor. You know, just a random act of kindness is what we would hope for in repayment of the price of the ticket.
It's wonderful to see people come up to Arden after a show and say, thank you for doing this, thank you for your hard work.
Arden is doing amazing things.
Amazing job, amazing.
On many levels, pop, blues,
anything you
rock
think
and roll, everything. Everything. Arden is the man.
You may not like the genre of music, of everything that we book, but I can assure you that we book the best of the genre. So, and I encourage people, you know, do not stay home and not come see a show because you don't know who Joe Pug is. Just trust me on this one, give it a chance. There's always, all you got to do is say, look, this show is not for me, we'll give you your money back, or just come peek your head in the door and try it. But it goes far beyond the money aspect of a ticket. If you don't know who a band is, just come and experience it. And I'm 99 out of 100 times it's going to be something you dig and want to come back to.
To find out more about Arden and the music business, go to our website, mpbonline.org/Mississippi Roads. And as we continue to discover more about the Fondren area, we found restaurants and boutiques, but we have also found out that Fondren is just as much a residential area as it is a commercial area. And the homes here add just as much flavor as anything to Fondren. Even from its inception, it was seen as a walkable community. A close mixture of retail and commercial space with residences kept the neighborhood alive and vibrant. And it's what allows the area to carry a certain brand of charm with it to this day. Visitors to the area are treated to everything from amazing music, a health food store, a computer co-op, great restaurants, and so much more. And speaking of restaurants, in downtown Jackson on Ferry Street, not all that far from where we are right now, there once was a very popular restaurant. So popular that its patrons call it their second home. Now it's not there anymore, but we're going to travel to it again. Take another look at it through the rearview mirror.
Everybody's supposed to eat, supposed to be full. I would hit that 4 every morning, come down here at 6 o'clock in the morning, open this place up.
When you walk through that door, you're gonna feel something, you know. Love is here, love is in the air, love is everywhere when you're in here.
I was well known by, you know, people from everywhere. And most time when people come in town, they be looking for peaches.
Because of Miss Peaches Cannons and it's good old down-home soul food and breakfast.
I worked because I had to do it. Then I worked because I loved it. I love to work.
This lady had a vision, a soul food to serve grandmama's cooking in a restaurant.
They better call me Peaches. I am the founder of the restaurant. I came here 1961 in May. When I first started, it was very small, you know. I had me and one girl. I first started cooking 1 meat or 2 meats a day. Grew from that, we started cooking, adding, you know, more and more each day. So now some days we cook around 7, 8 meats.
Back in '61, when you have a black lady, was able to really come up with her own business and ideas and develop it and really stay at it all these years, you had to have a strong will and a strong heart.
I've always worked all my life. My daddy always told me to learn how to work so you won't have to beg. So I chose cooking to be my job, and that's what I did.
I got first-hand training with what I think one of the master chefs and cookers of all times.
I got my cooking from my mother and my grandmother. I was all the way in the kitchen, standing up on the box watching, seeing what they done, because I never cooked about a recipe. I would always do like that. They would do a little of this and a little of that. And when they cooked, taste it, see what it like, add a little bit more to it. So that's the only thing I don't know whether I cook it by a recipe or not.
Peaches Restaurant was established in May the 29th, 1961.
In 1961, Fair Street was real. A lot of business was down in here. The movie was open, it was there. And on Saturdays, weekends, you couldn't even get up down Fair Street because so many people would be down.
People was more together at that time. The community was really structured. The working man and woman really brought his family here to eat. Before they, immigrated and did a lot of things like that, this was the place that they had to come to.
I was here during the Civil Rights Movement when there was so many people. The movie stars and things, they would come in because they couldn't go nowhere else. Boo Moose Jackson,
James Merritt,
Buddy Johnson,
Muhammad Ali,
Lionel Hampton,
James Brown.
I would meet them and feed them.
When you walk through that door, it's just like home. You're gonna get the treatment from the employees and the waitresses like you got 10, 20, 30 years ago.
She's one of the best person to work for. I am the breakfast cook. I open up at 6 a.m. every morning.
On the breakfast, we do about 10 to 11 meats.
Homemade pancakes, salmons, red rose sausages, patty sausages, bacon, omelets, grilled cheese, you name it, I can fix it.
On her dinner, she has come up with over like 35 meats.
#1 seller, that's smothered chicken.
Beef stew, oxtails,
pigtails or pig feet, chitlins, that's the main thing.
We do about 22 different types of vegetables.
Cabbage greens, turnips and collard greens, black-eyed peas, candied yams and macaroni and cheese. Rice and gravy is the main dish.
If you came up in here hungry, you wouldn't leave out hungry.
Here one day, about a month ago, this guy came in and ate his dinner. And you know how children do when they grow up. And he says, "Hi, Miss Peaches." I spoke, I said, "Hey." But I didn't recognize who he was. So he ate. When he got up, he come around and hugged my neck and gave me a $20 bill. He said, "This for some of them times that you fed me when I was hungry." When the Jackson Mall opened up, people started to get me to go out there. Metro Center opened up, people started to get me to go out there. But I said, this is where I started, down here with my people, and I refuse to leave. I feel like I can be a help to them down in here, so I'm still here.
Fondren has kind of a distinct look to it, its own flavor of design. From the signs on the buildings, to the facades on the buildings, to the shops within the buildings. And then the neighborhood itself has become home to people who want to express themselves in a variety of ways. In Fondren, you'll find culture, art, music, and shopping, and even an old-fashioned apothecary and soda fountain. And once a month, with a few exceptions, people come together for a great time formerly known as Fondren After 5. Crowds take to the streets to come visit with one another, stop in the shops, and see what the art gallery might be showing, or greet a new business owner, or even just stop by some of their favorite places like Brent's Drugs, the Fondren Public, even the Rainbow Co-op. If you'd like to attend, get here early because the place is really popular. And speaking of things that are growing in popularity, depending on where you are in the capital city, and then of course what time of the day you're there, you might run across something that's rising in popularity. They're making a bit of a comeback, and they're bringing happy diners a heaping helping of convenience all along the way. And of course, we're talking about food trucks, which we take a closer look at in our next story.
I came to Mississippi to fly C-17s for the Air National Guard, and that's essentially a part-time job. And so while I was on full-time orders, in the back of my mind, I was trying to figure out a way to create a business so that I could have something after I got off active duty. And so it just got to the point where, I noticed that there wasn't a lot of food trucks. At the time, there's maybe 1 or 2 food trucks here in Jackson. And I just saw it as an opportunity to be one of the first ones in the market with this type of food. And essentially, I looked through Craigslist, found this truck on Craigslist in Houston, and bought it sight unseen. And I created the design, did everything. To be honest with you, it was a scary moment because I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't even have permits here in Jackson, Mississippi, and it was pretty much a gamble. And thankfully, it's panned out. The market's opening up. More and more people are getting used to food trucks. Nashville's big, San Antonio's big, and now finally it's coming here to Jackson. Tito's Tacos is essentially, the whole concept behind it was to bring an authentic Mexican taste. I grew up in Panama, Central America. I grew up cooking. I joined the Army as a cook, and when I came to the United States. And the idea was to create like a fusion of American tacos, but also have the authentic Mexican tacos as if you would, the same way you would eat them as if you went to Mexico.
It was pretty soon after Jackson had passed the ordinance to allow the trucks in the Jackson area. I was working at a retail with my mom, and she was getting ready to retire, so I was either looking at taking over that business or doing the food truck, and I decided to go with the food truck. I wanted to try something new out and take a new direction with my life. The response has been wonderful. I mean, I've got regular customers down here that coming out and eat with me. What's really been surprised is how well I've been received by most of the brick and mortars, and the fact that many of them will let me or my guest chefs come in and prep in their kitchens. Well, to have the food truck, you've got to be a little bit more gourmet. I wouldn't have gotten the media attention had I gone and just bought pre-made hamburger patties instead of making them by hand, and doing the gourmet toppings ourselves, like making the pico de gallo in-house, making the pimento cheese in-house, trying different things that are a little bit off the charts for the area, like the deep-fried kimchi hamburger that I have today. I doubt anybody in Mississippi is deep-frying kimchi other than me.
The biggest difficulty here in Jackson, Mississippi is that there's a lot of municipalities that aren't open to the whole food truck concept. And I think it's so new that people, regulation-wise, I don't know that they knew how to, some municipalities don't know how to regulate it. So, there's only certain places that we can go to. We still have to go through all the food inspections and go through everything that restaurants go through. But the hardest part is finding a place to put your food truck, because not a lot of places are open to food trucks at the time. And so just getting through that red tape is difficult, but I would do it all again, knowing what I know now. Right now, the community of food trucks here in Jackson is pretty small. There's about 3 or 4 trucks. What I like about the food truck community that we do have is, everybody's, we're all about getting more food trucks into the market because, it's not really we're not competing against each other necessarily as much as we're trying to bring more and more food trucks together so that we could attract more and more people. So essentially, we could grab these food trucks, move them to a corner of the street, and it's like having a food court. And so if somebody comes with their family, if they want Mexican food, well, hey, they could have Mexican food, or they could have hamburgers from another food truck. And I guess essentially what would be awesome to see here in Jackson is a food truck park. And that's what you would see like in Nashville or San Antonio or different places where you have an area that has 4, 5, 6, maybe 10, 15 food trucks. People come to eat and it's like a food court, outdoors, music, festivals, stuff like that.
Hey, regrettably, that's all the time we have for our visit to Fondren. If you got any questions about anything you've seen on the show, contact us at mpbonline.org/Mississippi Roads or join our Facebook page. Till next time, I'm Walt Grayson, and I'll be seeing you on Mississippi Roads.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.